Bass go wild when I pull up. They all on me like they want some.
Alright, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, vacuuming the house is probably one of the most tedious and boring things anyone could ask me to do. Vacuum cleaners don't get me excited. I reviewed a vacuum on this channel once, and I decided that would be the last time. But I traveled to Las Vegas earlier this year to attend CES, where I met some of the people from DREAME, and they showed me their new X30 Ultra, and I'm low-key embarrassed to say that I was nerding out hard over this vacuum cleaner. It vacuums and mops, obviously, but then it drives itself back to the base station, dumps the dirty water, fills itself with clean water, and you don't even have to take the mop pads off because this thing has a built-in cleaning and scraping mechanism, which cleans the mop pads for you as well. The part I was most interested in though was the tri-cut brush that siphons all the hair in through the divots, pushes it through the steel cutting blade, and sends it right into the dustbin. We have a Cocker Spaniel at home, and he's a good boy, but a very hairy one, and he's not afraid to sprinkle all of that fluffy goodness all over the house. Every single vacuum we've used, the brush gets all tangled up in no time, so to have a brush that essentially turns hair into dust is a game changer for me. Anyway, this is a tech channel, and thankfully this thing is loaded with tech, which we will go over in a minute. So out of the box, we have the vacuum, the base station, the cleaning brush, cleaning solution, which I should have probably saved the bottle to show you. What can I say? I got a little carried away. We have two mop pads and a side brush to help clean things up. Setting up the X30 Ultra is totally plug and play. You connect the vacuum to your Wi-Fi, download the app, scan the QR code, and you're good to go. You know how this works. Now, the app is pretty detailed with a lot of options, but I love that it also offers kind of a quick start option with settings like fast mapping, whereby it takes itself for a ride around your space and creates a map of its surroundings so it knows exactly where everything is. You can literally see it building the map super fast and accurate. Now, this is already one of the things where you can see a clear difference between the X30 Ultra and your run-of-the-mill robot vacuum, because as quickly as it scans, it does not miss any details. It even registers where there's cables on the floor, and because the obstacle avoidance on this thing is so good, it actually avoids all those cables. Along with that hair-cutting brush, that is another huge plus for me. This is a studio, and as you can imagine, there's plenty of cables all over the place. Previous vacuum cleaners would try to ride over the cables and then get all tangled up, which makes it a deal breaker for me. Not this guy. The LiDAR scanner, the sensors, and the camera work together to make sure that this doesn't happen. Speaking of the camera, it's not only there to help the vacuum navigate, you can actually log in and see through the camera, kind of like you would use a security camera. You can even take remote control of the vacuum, which can be super useful when you're not at the house, or in my case the studio, to quickly check if that's where your missing bag is. But first and foremost, this thing is of course a vacuum cleaner, and it does a great job at that. In fact, it has 8,300 PA suction power, which is actually #1 in the world for a vacuum cleaner that vacuums and mops. Now, the mopping part is what I was most skeptical about. I have used robot vacuums before that had a mopping feature, but they would either not do a great job at mopping, they would get super dirty super quickly, or they would leave a trail of water and gunk, which kind of defeats the purpose. Not to mention the fact that those things couldn't vacuum my carpets because of the simultaneous mopping. I was actually surprised about the clever ways in which the good people at DREAME have been able to fix all those problems. First of all, these mops have what DREAME calls Mop Extend technology, which means the mop swings out to the sides, helping them to really get up against those baseboards, as well as underneath cabinets and things like your fridge. It has a really clever solution to the carpet problem as well, whereby it raises the mops as soon as it senses a carpet. That way the carpet can be vacuumed without the mops touching it. Once it's back at the base station, the mops get washed with 140 degrees Fahrenheit water, so most of the time you don't have to do any cleaning. If they do get too dirty for whatever reason, you can just pop them off since they're attached magnetically and wash them. The actual base station cleans itself as well. As the mops are being washed, the scrapers rotate as well, scraping out the washboard. Now, my first thought when I saw it washing the mops at CES was, well, that's cool, but those wet mops are gonna stink up the studio. Well, I was wrong, because the base station has built-in blow dryers that dry the mops as well as the washboard so that everything will be nice and dry and there's no chance of any mildew or any bad odors.
Start dehydrating mop pads.
That same base station has what they call full auto robot care and takes care of everything else. It automatically empties out the debris and the dust from the container into a dust bag inside the base station. And that's good for hands-free emptying for about 75 days. Once it's full, simply replace the bag and you're good to go for another 75 days. I really appreciate this feature because other vacuum cleaners I've tested and used, I had to manually empty the dust container in the trash, and it's almost impossible to do that without dust flying all over the place. Like I said in the beginning, the base station contains clean water and dirty water, which is also super easy to manage. You just take out both containers, empty out the dirty water, fill up the clean water, and done. There's a smaller tank in there for the cleaning solution, which will be automatically dosed with the water, so you always get the right mixture of water and cleaning solutions, which avoids leaving any streaks on the floor that you sometimes get from adding too much cleaning solution. So yeah, that is a lot of really useful hardware, but it's the combination of the hardware and the app that make this thing work so well. You can really get super specific with the different cleaning modes and choose your favorite settings. For example, I told you the vacuum raises the mops when it does the carpets. Now, if you have shag carpet, which is really high, that's not going to work. So you can also choose to automatically detach the mops or just to avoid the carpets altogether. You can adjust suction power, how moist you want the mops to be, or maybe you just want to clean a specific section of your place. It's all there. Look, at the end of the day, it's still a vacuum cleaner, but it's easily the coolest one I've ever seen and used, and it's 100% gonna be living here in the studio. If you want more information or check out the current pricing, there will be links in the description below. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give it one of these. It really does help the channel. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.